Dzień dobry, cześć, witam Was na kanale Blasting Academy. Dzisiaj odcinek podwójnie nietypowy. Podwójnie nietypowy, ponieważ będę go prowadzić w języku angielskim, a druga kwestia to to, że mamy dzisiaj specjalnego gościa, który przyjechał do nas specjalnie z Niemiec. Let me switch into English and I would like to welcome you to Blasting Academy, our expert series made by Alumetal Technik. We have a special guest here in Poland who is Mr. Joachim Vianden from Eisenwerk Würth. Hello.
Hello, Carol. It's always a pleasure to be here together with you in Łódź in the headquarters of Alumetal Technik.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to have you here. We are making the YouTube series for almost a year, and it's a big pleasure to have you here in our Blasting Academy studio. I have many questions to you. I know that we have limited time, but I really hope that we will try to answer, you will try to answer all the questions.
I will do my best, Carol.
Perfect. So let's not waste our time and please tell me more about yourself and your role at Eisenwerk Würth. I think it will be also really interesting for the Polish audience.
Well, I studied electrical engineering at the University of Darmstadt. However, after that study, I spent more or less my whole business life in the surface treatment industry. The first 15 to 20 years were on the coatings and adhesive side, and then I changed to the abrasive side, and for almost 15 years now I am the CEO of Eisenwerk Würth, which is one of the top producers of high-quality steel abrasives in Europe.
And I think one of the oldest one in Europe?
That's correct. We are more than 100 years old, and I have to say we are quite proud of our history in the industry.
And this is not surprising. I would be also really proud if I were you. So please, could you describe EW today? I would like to ask you about the key markets, main customer groups, and of course your core strengths.
Yeah. Well, we serve more than 2,000 customers in about 40 countries all over the world. However, our home market is Europe. That's where we really feel at home. And when you ask about industries, we are in many different industries. Of course, automotive plays an important role. There's foundry industry, machine industry, steel producers, and many other applications and industries. And if you ask about the core strengths of Eisenwerk Würth, we want to be part of the process. So we don't just want to deliver one pallet of steel shot to a customer and say, hey, here is the steel shot and we leave you alone. We would like to do the opposite. We want to be very close to the customer and really help the customer to improve his blasting process. And since about 5 years, we are also very strong in the digitalization of blasting processes, and maybe we are coming back to this later on in the interview.
The part of the process, this is really interesting. And before going to 2026, I would like to focus a little bit on 2025, and I would like to make a kind of a recap of this year with you. And I have a question here. If you could describe the year 2025 for the European metal industry and for the shot blasting business in particular.
Well, good question. I believe everybody feels and recognizes the changes in the European industry landscape. Industries with very high energy consumption, such as steel producers and foundries, they are really under pressure right now.
Okay.
At the same time, the European automotive industry is producing a significant lower number of cars in Europe. And especially Germany shows almost no growth for the last 2 to 3 years, which also has an effect on other countries in Europe, like Poland, like Italy.
Yes, we feel that the same here in Poland.
And we have to admit that in the end, that all has an effect also on the shot blasting industry, with reduced consumption all over Europe.
But you mean particularly foundries or other branches that are producing for automotive? What is your opinion here?
Well, I think that that affects a lot of branches, not only automotive, but also other industries. So I would say it's a good picture and a good overall picture about the industry.
Okay, thank you very much. And still focusing on 2025, where did you see the strongest pressure in 2025? I mean, maybe costs, quality requirements from your customers, maybe some, we're in Europe, so environmental requirements, or maybe lack of really skilled people.
Well, I think it's a combination of all of that. And if I speak for Eisenwerk Würth, I would say that new European regulations, on the one hand side, as well as to hire talented and motivated people for our industry is concerning us most these days. Because steel abrasive, Carol, is a people's business.
Okay. This is really interesting, and I would say this is kind of a deep answer. From the perspective of an abrasive producer, because you are the factory that is producing steel shot and chilled iron grit, what surprised you most in 2025?
Well, for me, it was a surprise that the impact of the overall economical situation in Europe is so big on our industry. And let me explain that a little bit in detail, Carol. Many of our customers are not stopping their production, but they really have to reduce or even to change their production program. And that has quite a strong impact on us as a steel abrasive manufacturer. So sometimes they even have to change their abrasive to adapt it to their new product program. And that the effect was quite big, and I was not prepared for that in 2025.
This is interesting. From my perspective, in 2025, we received more inquiries to help customers here in Poland in their blasting process. They asked us, how can we reduce the costs of the production? How can we improve the efficiency of our production? And what was really surprising for us, they asked us to support them in their blasting process because they didn't have any technical support in this particular part of the process.
I think I can confirm all these 3 points. That is also part of the change in the industry. It is much more about cost effectiveness and also about surface quality. So you name the trends in the industry. I would say that is not only a trend for you as Alumetalltechnik, but you can really see that all over Europe.
Some time ago, we had an interview with Jerzy Kozłowski, who is the Frozio guru in Poland. He was sitting in the same place. And I see step by step growing need of the support, like Frozio inspectors who are, let's say, understanding much better the blasting processes. And they are also trying to help to support their, let's call them customers, with their processes. So they also build their knowledge about the surface treatment. I mean, the particular blasting processes like a manual process or even the wheel blasting process, they grow as people with the better knowledge. And this also, in my opinion, influences the quality of the final blasting.
Carol, I fully agree. I think quality and knowledge about blasting process is getting more and more important all over Europe, and so you name it.
Yeah, together, this is funny because together with Jerzy, we now use, this is his hashtag, you have to know your process. This is translation from Polish. In Polish, this is poznaj swój proces, and this is the translation. I really like it. Because this is the answer for many factories here in Poland, or maybe even all over the Europe, in situations that customers they really don't understand. They don't know what they are doing in their factories. Okay, let's focus a little bit on the priority of shot blasting for the top management. This is super interesting for me because as you in Germany and in other countries, I also visit from time to time the CEOs in Polish factories, smaller, medium size, and even the big ones. And when you visit your customers, do you see the management really understanding the TCO, the total cost of ownership of blasting, or do they still focus mainly on the price per ton?
Clear answer, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Blasting, I believe, is still a black box, if you call it like this, for many companies. And due to the lack of knowledge and missing cost transparency, many companies only focus on buying cheap abrasives instead of working on the TCO, meaning the total cost of ownership of blasting. And this is, in my point of view, is really a pity, because only a very few companies work with this concept, and they are missing so many opportunities. So very often when I meet CEOs, we discuss a little bit, and then after a few minutes they say, yes, I have to have a deep dive into that because they understand that this idea really is the future. But it's, I think, for our industry, to be very clear and very honest, it will be a long way to get there, but we will go there step by step.
But to be honest with you, if we divide, for example, the market into two parts, the low-cost materials in shot blasting business, and let's call them high-cost. I hate the premium products name, but let's call them high-cost. Even in the part of the higher cost materials, I can see the lack of knowledge, and even if the company is paying more for the material, they don't focus deeply enough in their process and their money. They pay for something, but the process is a disaster. The separation is not working. They don't know how often they should put the new material into the machine, into the line. And of course, I'm happy because we have more job to do here in Poland. But even in that case, the situation sometimes is really hard for them, of course.
Well, I also hate, let me say, low-cost abrasive and high-cost abrasive. I think we will come back to that later on. But you're right. Also, in my experience, you visit really good companies with a perfect production. But then there is a little dark corner in the production, and there you see the blasting line. And then I ask, hey, why is there such a dark corner? And for me, it is very hard to understand how a company can optimize the whole production process, but doesn't pay attention to the blasting, which usually also adds a lot of value to the product. And I think that is also a future trend. Surfaces will be more important in the future. So this will really add value to product. This will help to differentiate between a good and a medium product. And so I strongly recommend also to have a focus on that. And let's come back a little bit to this low-cost abrasive. There is no low-cost abrasive in the world, because if you have to pay twice because the blasting result is not good in the end, you are not paying low cost, you're paying high cost.
I fully agree.
And well, I know it. Many people tell this, but this is also our experience for more than 100 years. Do it right in the first place, and this is the only way to save money in this process. And just buying cheap will not help you to survive.
In your own opinion, is it connected with mentality or other factors?
Well, that's another very good question. I think it is. It has to do with mentality, with history. But however, we have to change it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And again, in your opinion, what are the typical blind spots of CEOs and production directors when it comes to shot blasting? Where they lose money without noticing. And I'm not asking you only about Poland. I would like to have a, let's say, wider answer. Even let's focus on Europe.
Well, Europe, or you can also tell that for the world. Let me underline again. For many companies, even knowing that the blasting process is a vital part of their added value chain, there is still a wide and common disinterest in this process. And as a result of this disinterest, even the big players in the industry, they do not use the potential of cost savings in this area. And so this is my strong recommendation. Have a look in the dark corner of your production.
Okay.
Talk to the people who are doing the blasting process, and then talk to companies like Alumetalltechnik and try to find the potential to optimize the process.
So, Mr. CEO, please save your money. It's in your company.
Exactly.
Okay.
But please, I'm very, very serious. This is one of the biggest problems in our industry. CEOs underestimate the saving potential in this area. They say, this is process number 99 in my long list of production processes. I can tell you from my experience and from the projects I have done in the last 15 years, it absolutely makes sense to look together into that, together with blasting experts, and you will see, you will very shortly find big saving potentials to improve your process and having better surfaces in the end.
From my point of view, and the problem that I can see here in Poland, in many cases, the purchasing departments, they are deciding what to buy for the production. And then the production director is calling us, please come to my company, check my blasting line, what can I do better? And then we are making the, let's say, the list of hints for him. But in the final end, the purchasing department says, no, it's too expensive. We have to buy the lowest possible price. This is the aim for the company. Crazy.
Well, I fully respect the work of the purchasing department. I think it's very important nowadays for industries to have a well-functioning purchasing department. However, as you mentioned before, the concept has to be TCO, so total cost of ownership. And let me give you a figure. According to our experience, price of the abrasive is only about 15 to 20% of the total cost of ownership. So if you optimize the pricing of abrasives maybe by 1 or 2%, this will not help you to survive in the future. You have to work on the whole process together with experts who really have the knowledge and know what to do. So that is my strong advice. Yes, of course, you can improve purchasing price, but this will not help you in the end.
Unfortunately, I cannot use the name, but we have a foundry here in Poland, which was buying the low-cost material. The price was the most important, and we supported them with our idea for their process, and they saved 31% in lower consumption of the abrasive. So yes, it's possible, but you have to understand your process. You have to choose what you want to do in the future in your company.
That's correct, and I can confirm the number of 30. We even sometimes see 50% reduction in consumption. That always depends on the blasting process and the other parameters, but it is possible, and that's why I said before, it absolutely makes sense to have an eye on the dark corner of the production.
Okay, so if we focus on the shot blasting process, you are traveling across the whole Europe, sometimes the whole world. What are the key elements, in your opinion, that define a good, well-maintained shot blasting process with your own eyes?
Well, I think it's a combination. First, you need well-trained staff, technical people, operators with a good understanding of the blasting process.
So we're coming back to the people.
We are coming back to the people. Secondly, of course, you need a good and well-maintained blasting machine. So it really makes sense to invest in maintenance of blasting machines. And last but not least, of course, you need the abrasive. And let me point out a little bit on the abrasive. There is a common misunderstanding that many companies and also purchasers, they just see abrasive as a commodity.
Like a toilet paper.
And that's my funny picture here, like a toilet paper. And it's actually the opposite. It's a very specialized tool which needs to fit to the blasting machine and of course to the surface requirements of the customer. And this is, from my point of view, is probably the biggest misunderstanding. People believe, I just have to buy a 1 ton of abrasive, I put it in the machine and everything works by itself. This is completely wrong thinking, and I have never seen a place where this works.
And I think the problem is also connected with different types of distributors, because there are distributors like us, for example. We are focusing only on abrasives, on machines. We can support Polish customers with the spare parts. We can make the tests here in Łódź, in our facility. And the other group are the companies that they sell steel, material for welding, gloves, some abrasive from different part of the world, and they don't care. They just sell, sitting in their beautiful office with a cup of coffee, and they even don't want to understand what you are doing in your company.
I think you are perfectly right, and that is another recommendation. If you are looking for a supplier, please really check: is it just a distributor, or is he able to give technical service to you? Does he really have knowledge of the blasting process? And then you will find that maybe from 30 distributors, there may be 1 or 2 left in the maximum. And this, I think, can really help to choose the right partner for this kind of industry.
Yeah, this is true. Okay, so step by step, we are coming to the topic of 2026 and the key challenges, because we still don't know what will happen in 2026. But I would like to ask you, what do you see as the, let's call them biggest challenges for the shot blasting industry and for your customers in 2026?
Well, I think they are basically the same as in 2025. And mostly I think our customers, they should not lose the focus on the importance of a well-controlled and well-maintained blasting process. Just stay focused on that, and also invest the money which needs to be invested, because there's one other specialty many people forget, or especially on the sea level, maybe that is not so well known. A blasting machine intends to destroy itself.
Yes.
So it's not like other machines where you maybe just have little changes. It really destroys itself. So it needs much more attention in maintenance and in process control than many other process machines you know from other production areas. And you should always keep that in mind.
But frankly speaking, when I'm visiting Polish factories, small ones, medium size, and the big ones, in many cases the maintenance department, they don't have enough time, or there are too less people in the team to cover the whole company with all the technical problems. And the blasting line, as you said, is in the dark corner. Let's don't touch it.
So then, Carol, again, that's a recommendation on the sea level. Keep in mind the differences between blasting machines and other machines, and stay focused. And there is no way out to have some attention on that process, and also to invest in good maintenance and in good spare parts.
Yeah, this is true. Do you expect cost pressure and energy prices to still dominate, or will quality and maybe environmental regulations become even more important?
I think it's obsolete to stay focused on the whole blasting process, including all its aspects, and a good and high quality abrasive and a well-performing, maintained machine is really vital to achieve highest level of surface quality. And we didn't discuss that so far, but I also believe that the demand of the end customer to high surface quality will even increase, and you can see that all over Europe.
Yeah, and by the surface quality, what do you think it's surface quality for you?
Well, again, that really depends on what you're doing, but in many cases, pieces which are blasted with our abrasive later on, they get, for example, a coatings layer, and it really makes a big difference for this coating layer if the blasting has been done in the right way or in the wrong way. So you can lose a lot of money if the blasting process is not carried out correctly.
I suppose that you, as a CEO, you also make your own plans for the next year. And please tell me, in your opinion, what should management start to prepare for now, so they're not surprised in 2026? Okay, let's focus on the blasting business. What should they do now not to be surprised?
Well, if you are thinking about improving your process, trying, for example, a new abrasive, please keep in mind that these projects usually take between 3 and 6 months. So very often I see that the CEO says, try this, and next week please report to me if everything is going well. Unfortunately, trials in our industry, they take a much longer time. So I said 3 to 6 months, but I also see some examples where good companies say, we tried really for 1 year. We want to have good data to decide if this is the right way to develop. So my recommendation is it makes sense to invest time and money in this process, and don't expect that these projects will deliver results in 1 or 2 weeks. You have to calculate 3 to 6 months, and if you want to do it perfectly, calculate 12 months.
Yeah, this is true, and this is funny because in some cases people say, we will buy 1 ton of the abrasive from you, and then we will know everything.
Yeah. Well, that is not the case, as you know, because it really, now it's getting very technical, but it really takes time before a new operating mix develops in a blasting machine. And and therefore these 3 to 6 months are really realistic. And well, I understand that is a big investment for companies if they want to test something new, but this needs to be done to get good results.
I have a funny story because we have one company which is using our material from you, and they are using this material for years. And the new production director entered the company, and of course, as you can imagine, he wanted to improve something because of his knowledge. So he decided to change the abrasive. Really simple, because we have to save money, so we have to buy the cheaper one. They did it. They put the first tone of the material to our operation mixture, and nothing. And after the second tone, they called us, sorry, it was a mistake. We have so much dust in the process. The surface is not well blasted. Can you support us? And you know what was next. So yeah, sometimes the decision with savings is only something that won't help you. You will save money, but only here. But as you said, you will pay twice.
In most cases, it's exactly like this.
Yeah. So let's focus a little bit, maybe still on the future. And please tell me, when you think about a blasting process, imagine it in your head. When you imagine a modern shot blasting process in 3 up to 5 years, what does it look like?
I think in principle, I strongly believe that blasting with steel shot will continue to play an important role in production also in the next 10 to 20 years. I would go even further than you did in your question. And as I mentioned before, I also believe that at the same time we will see an increasing demand for high quality surfaces. What does that mean for the blasting process itself? It means that there's a higher demand to have really a stable, more economical process. And if you have the big picture of Europe, I think in Europe as an industry, we can only survive if we really continue to deliver high quality products with high quality surfaces. So in my point of view, there's a good and important future for our industry, but with a shift to more high quality blasting processes, resulting in high quality surfaces.
And do you think that AI will be more engaged in blasting process in the future?
Well, AI is a big word. Let me put it like this. Hopefully, smarter blasting machines who can control blasting processes on their own will play a more important role in the future. So I do believe that these industries will, or these new technologies will also impact the blasting industry. However, I think this will come step by step.
Yeah, I think even now, not in the future, AI can help, especially with analyzing the process. But to analyze something, you need to collect the data. And many of our customers, they are collecting data. They know how much of abrasive they consumed, how many hours they blasted. And if you have many collected parameters, then you can use AI to make some conclusions, for example, or to tell you, look, in week number 45, you have the higher consumption than 2 weeks before, and so on. So in that case, if you don't have time, you can make some analysis with the artificial intelligence.
Carol, at this point, I disagree a little bit.
Okay, perfect. Finally.
Finally. According to my view on the market, only a very small number of companies, let's say less than 5%, are really collecting valid data regarding their blasting process. Because, of course, it takes a lot of time and effort, and it's not so easy, even also to create like a KPI on the blasting process, I believe is not so easy. But I agree to you, to optimize a blasting process, this should be based on data, not on a gut feeling. Now today this looks better than yesterday. So in this regard, I fully agree to you. I think the future will be that we will have better data about our blasting process. Let's say consumption, let's say surface quality, let's say also the wear of the blasting machine. So to have that really in data, not just in, today the machine doesn't look good. And this is a big opportunity also for our industry. If we are able to use this data, I think this will give our customers and the industry a great potential for process optimization. But other than you said, I think we are pretty far away from this point, and the first step now is really to collect data in a good way so that we really have a base for a technical decision.
I don't want to focus on this too deeply, but I know that you have a solution for collecting data, and I think we can invite our audience that if they have a lack of data regarding their process and they would like to collect more interesting data about the blasting process, they can contact you. We will leave your LinkedIn contact in the description of this video. So guys, if you want to know more about your process, if you want to understand your process much better than you do this now, you can contact Mr. Joachim Vianden, the CEO of Eisenwerk Würth, and ask him, how can you optimize your process?
You are more than welcome.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So one more question. What kind of cooperation between supplier and customer do you expect to become standard? For example, long-term performance-based partnerships. What is your opinion here?
Well, as I said before, I really like the word partner, since we define ourselves as part of the process, and I think this is a very interesting approach for the future. Many customers today have only a very limited knowledge in the field of blasting because it's a very specialized field in production. Therefore, I personally see a big potential for these customers to save costs by a cooperation with the experts in the industry. So to put it in short words, ask the expert. When you want to improve processes, I think this can be really helpful for the future.
Here in Poland, there is a lack of training for sandblasters and the operators. How does it look in Germany?
Actually, it's not a problem of Poland. I think it's a problem of whole Europe. There is no university where you can study blasting or steel abrasives. There are no books where you can read, how do I have to optimize my blasting process? So that really needs to be done by the players in the industry, like companies like Metalltechnik, where you have the experts to help you to improve your processes.
Some months ago, I had an interview with Adam Wilma from the company Farco, and almost monthly he's making a training for the powder coaters. And I'm really jealous here because there are more trainings for the guys who are painting than for the guys who are blasting, and this is a problem from my point of view.
You're right. I'm also jealous, and I think this is something we have to change in the industry. For sure, people need more training. It is important that an operator who runs a blasting line every day, he really understands how this blasting machine works, and also we have done much more trainings in the last 2-3 years than in the past, just to educate the people, and I think this will be a very important task for the future.
Thank you very much, and I think this is a perfect conclusion. Dear audience, first of all, try to invest your time and money in your process. Please not focus only on the lowest possible price at the invoice. And what should we add here from your point of view?
Well, I think if you remember that steel abrasives are not a commodity, but a specialized tool for good surface treatment, I think this is a good thing you should remember and take home with you after this interview.
Amen. Guys, if you need someone to support you in your blasting process, if you want to increase the efficiency, or you just want to have a stable, really stable quality of the surface, please contact us, contact Eisenwerk Würth in Bad Friedrichshall, and we will try to help you.
And Karol, it was a pleasure to be here with you and to do this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dwa słowa po polsku. Moi drodzy, dziękuję, że byliście tutaj z nami. Dziękuję, że dotrwaliście do tego momentu. Jeżeli potrzebujecie wsparcia w waszych procesach obróbki strumieniowo-ściernej, jesteśmy do waszej dyspozycji. Nie zapomnijcie o subskrypcji i do zobaczenia w kolejnym odcinku. Dzięki, do zobaczenia. Cześć.